What's up, guys? Capital Currency here. Today I wanted to talk about, is this currency? And I believe yes. What you're looking at right now is, well, I have two 30-day bucket supplies of food. You got bucket one, bucket two. There's different things in each bucket. I bought 12 of these buckets for about $1,500. Now, that's 6 months of food for two people. Okay? Now, that's 1,200 calories a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Obviously, if it really came to a situation where you're like desperate for your food, you're not going to eat that much. I could make this last probably, I'd say 10 months. I'd say 10 months I could probably make this last comfortably. And then with what I have in canned foods and that kind of stuff too. And then I have other freeze dried stuff too. You see the bucket there, or not the bucket, but the tote. That's from another company, and I actually got some other things to kind of go with that, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. But I just wanted to talk about the importance in having food, especially food that lasts 25 years. Freeze dried food is the only food that will do that. You can can stuff, but it doesn't last quite as long, but it does taste better. Um, you can dehydrate stuff, and that probably tastes the best, but it doesn't last. It doesn't last long at all. I mean, dehydrated food, it does. It might certain things you might get like 10 months to a year out of, but that's really pushing it. Even with like I make deer jerky and I dehydrate it, and it'll last a few weeks, but after like a month or two, it starts getting real hard and like it's not that good. Now, there's certain ways to package things, and if I packaged it right, I probably could make it last longer, but you know, that's kind of the system. That's the way the system works. It's dehydrated, then canned, then freeze dried. Freeze dried is definitely going to last longer than anything you can imagine. I mean, 25-year shelf life. For me, I bought this when the coronavirus first started. When all that stuff first came out, I was like, you know what? I still was working every day, and I was on the front lines at working too. I wasn't one of those people that had to stay home. I was out there every day, scared to death, like, man, talking to people every day, like helping people and making contact with people. It was a scary time, so I decided I've been wanting to do this for a while, even before that, but I hadn't really put the money into it yet. So I took $1,500 and I put it into the freeze dried stuff. Those buckets, I have 12 of them, the 5-gallon buckets. I have 12 of those. It's a bunch of different food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Um, when that came in, it felt really good just to know that no matter what, if anything happened, I knew I had this food. Whether it would be losing my job, whether it would be, something happening crazy in the world, whether it was a disaster. I mean, you never know. There's a lot of things that can happen, and it happens all the time. Disasters happen to different countries all year round. There's at least one or two major disasters. So, and probably more than that we just don't hear about. But I feel like this is a very important thing into stacking. Like, I stack food. I don't just stack silver, gold coins, and bills and that kind of stuff. I stack silver and gold, but then I also collect coins and bills. So there's a collecting side to it. But I stack food. I stack freeze dried food. I stack food that I know is non perishable, stuff that is canned food, and stuff that I know will last a long time. You got rice and beans and pastas and stuff like that. Yeah, pasta might not taste great in a couple of years from now, but it will still, as long as it don't have mold on it, it'll still be all right to eat. Which is funny because Mrs. Capital, she looks at I'm telling you, every time I pull any kind of canned food out, she is searching for that date, because if it's outdated, she don't want to eat it. And I tell her, we keep it in a cold, not a cold, but, a dark place that is relatively cool, as long as they're not getting hot and they're not in the sun and they're in a cool, dark place. That's usually going to last longer than the date anyway. But you could I've watched people on YouTube eat stuff that's 100 years old from a can. So, You know, it can be done. It's not going to taste that great, don't get me wrong, but, you know. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that too much. I just wanted to basically tell you guys about Ready Hour is an awesome company. It was $1,500 for all this food. It was 12 buckets. You know, when it came in, I felt great. I felt like, man, I just, there's a feeling that comes over you when you know, no matter what, you're taking care of your family, even if, say, you don't have a job and you don't know what you're going to do with your life, you know? I mean, you don't know what the future holds, and there's not a lot of new jobs out there. That can happen. That can happen tomorrow to any of you. So just think about it. While you have the money, while you have the time to put into this kind of stuff, get it, because it's going to mean the world to you in the next year or two. I've been researching a lot about, and I'm not going to get too much into this, but I've been researching a lot about what's going on in the world and what everybody's talking about could be coming, and all of that makes so much sense. I tried to search food shortages a couple of weeks ago, about a week ago. I tried to search food shortage, and everything I came up on YouTube, every video that came up on YouTube, it wouldn't let me watch it. That right there just kind of tells me, okay, well, I guess they're trying to hide that from us too. You know, YouTube has been really good at shutting stuff down, and I don't want to get too much into that because I don't want to be shut down. So I'm just gonna keep going on about what I'm talking about here. We got the Four Patriots. That was another company. The Tote was a separate company, and actually, what I got from them was a solar powered generator, which was actually $2,500. But man, that thing is awesome, and I'm gonna do a video separately on that. I got a solar air lantern, which is basically just a solar powered lantern that you blow up, you know, like a balloon, really. I got some rechargeable batteries. I got the Lion Cub Co. I'm going to show you that. This is really cool. This hooks up to a solar panel. So you charge this with the sun. Amazing thing to have. Then I got 8 of these. Basically, this is for charging your phone or whatever, but it's a solar panel right there. Very cool. On top of that, I got this. You charge that with the sun. There's solar panels on the side there, but it also has a compass. Let me show you. A compass, a powerful magnet, a window breaker, and a steel blade. Awesome. Then, what's really awesome is I actually bought this separately because I thought, you know, yeah, it's great to boil water no matter what, but you don't need fuel, you don't need flames, you don't need nothing but the sun. So, check that out. The sun kettle. You put your water in it, then you open it up. Look, water, open it up, let it sit in the sun, and it gives you boiling water. You cannot go wrong with that. Look. So cool. So when I got all this, it all pretty much came at the same time, and I was like, man, the feeling of just knowing that no matter what, I know that for at least 6 months, my family is okay if something bad ever happened. The feeling you get from that is way better than any silver or gold you buy. Silver and gold is one thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get an awesome feeling when I get some new silver or gold in. But when you stock up on this kind of stuff, it's a totally different feeling, especially if you have a family. I'm telling you, if you have a family and you don't have any of this kind of food, with what's going on in the world right now, you need to make sure you get at least a couple. Just start with a tote. It doesn't have to be a lot. Start with a tote. Get something. That tote right there is actually 4 weeks for one person. So it's not a lot, but it's something. Start somewhere. Get some food that you know is going to last 25 years. Because once you pay for it, you know that you're good for 25 years. You get canned food, 10 years from now, it's really not going to taste that great. If it even tastes great at 10 years, that's kind of pushing it, I found that in canned food, the best thing you can get is mackerel. I think mackerel is like the only thing that lasts like 7 years in a can. Other than that, you're looking at like 5. in 4 years, sometimes 3 and 2 years. But I just wanted to put this video out because this can definitely be currency. You know, my channel's all about currency. Capital currency is what I call it, because not only do I love currency, but I also love the Washington Capitals. That's kind of why I went with that name. A little insider information there. That's why I did the hockey card thing when I found the Capitals. Go watch that video. It's really cool. That was like a straight up, I pulled the whole first line of the Washington Capitals. It was amazing. I mean, I've been collecting cards like that for a while, and that was so awesome that I ended up just happened to do that on video. But anyway, basically, go get yourself some of this food if you don't have any. You know what? And don't tell me you don't have any money, because if you're a stacker and you've got, you know, a decent amount of ounces of silver, you know, you could take 10, 20 ounces of silver and trade that in for some of this stuff. And I'm telling you, the feeling that you will get will be way better than the feeling you had off of that silver. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to make this video too long. Basically, I just wanted to show you guys what I think is currency, and if the shit really hits the fan, if you have this kind of stuff in abundance and you have a lot of this kind of stuff, those people that are out there that didn't get this kind of stuff, that didn't feel like food was important to them and water was important to them. And by the way, water is very important too. It's, 30 days with no food, 3 days with no water, and 3 minutes with no air. So, I mean, obviously air, whatever. If we can't breathe, we can't breathe. But with water and with food, if you can help somebody out and their family's starving, they're going to give you whatever you want. So if you really want to make your stack big in some kind of like shit hits the fan type of situation, that would be the way to do it. But if it comes to that, you're probably going to be more worried about lighting. You're like, oh, I'll give you some food for some batteries or some lights or, you know, whatever. I don't know if you guys have ever watched any of those movies or TV shows that the world ends, but I love that kind of stuff. It's always been fascinating to me. So, of course, being me, I've always worried myself into making sure that that doesn't happen to me. So, anyway, this is the video. I'm going to keep it short. I probably should redo this and make it better, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Hopefully you guys like it. I'm glad you guys stopped by. If you're still watching, I appreciate it. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hopefully I get to see you on my next one, and have yourself a great day.